Hola guys, I'm here at some unknown location in Madrid, some local park with pigeons, and you can hear the fountain in the background, some little statue over to the side. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I figured I'd do it a little differently today. We've been in hotels, and especially the last hotel that we were in, the Hard Rock, they just kept piping music all the time, and I could not find any place to go with some peace and quiet to do this. You might hear me every once in a while kick a pigeon. That won't sound really good. They think I'm gonna feed them. They think I'm a little old lady with some breadcrumbs, but I tain't that. Today I want to tell you about a story that I call Point Breeze Avenue. I did this story at Toastmasters about 6 months ago when I was talking about mentoring and how when you get a job, you need to find people who are good at doing that job already and get them to tell you the ins and outs. Not coaching you, not saying do this, do that, but giving you like general outlines and things, guidelines, and everything will work out really well if you do that. So there was a guy named Ralph Savage in the 17th District. I met him the first night that I worked there. When I graduated from the police academy, they took people in alphabetical order and they sent them to different districts. So Joe Cleary and I both went to the 17th District. We sat next to each other for however long the police academy was, 4, 6, 8 months. We sat next to each other. And then when we got to the 17th District, they just took people in alphabetical order and put them 2 by 2 into squads. So Joe and I wound up going to one squad in the 17th District together. We were going to start the same night because we were in the same squad. We were going to be on a 4 to 12 shift. And what we decided to do is to take a drive through the district. We got on a map and said, okay, here's the parameters of the district. Let's go and check it out and see what it's like. Well, there's a section of housing projects there that's very, very rough. There's an Irish neighborhood that's really tough, that's right next to the projects, and those people historically fought the people in the projects. And at one point in time during the 1960s, like maybe 12, 15 years before this story happened in 1981, which is about 42 years ago now, there were riots in this place, and the mayor of Philadelphia, who had been the police commissioner Rizzo, who would eventually become mayor of Philadelphia, actually was called away from a formal banquet or something that he was at, and he showed up in a tuxedo with a nightstick down his cummerbund. You can Google it and you'll get the pictures of it. He was at, I think, 29th and Tasker. And he showed up in the middle of these riots, and there was all kinds of crap that happened. Anyway, it wasn't a pretty neighborhood. And I went there that night. They put Joe on a wagon, I think, and they said to me, well, we're going to put you on a beat. You're going to walk Point Breeze Avenue. Point Breeze Avenue was right out in back of the police station. The police station started right there at Federal, where Point Breeze Avenue started, and then we had Point Breeze Avenue out to Moore Street. And I don't even remember if it went past Moore Street. It was like a diagonal cut kind of street. It had a lot of businesses on it, but at that point in time, those businesses were all falling apart. The neighborhood wasn't good. There was a lot of crime there. And all I could think of is, crap, like they're throwing me out here. And and it wasn't good. So Ralph Savage took me aside and he said, listen, kid, you're going to be tested out there. I'm only going to tell you one thing. But if you want your career to go well, you need to learn this. That every time you go someplace, you're going to be tested. You have to understand that that's your street. You're out there to protect the good citizens of Philadelphia. But the good citizens aren't the ones that are usually walking up and down Point Breeze Avenue. It's the bad citizens. It's the bad guys. It's the guys who are going to test you. And I said, well, what do you mean test me, Ralph? And he said, it's your street. Don't let anybody stare you down, and don't ever get out of anybody's way. He said, when people look at you, you look at them back, and you look at them until they look away from you. As soon as you let somebody stare you down, you lost. And that's going to go through the neighborhood like wildfire. And even worse than that, if you're walking down the street and somebody's walking directly at you, just keep walking at them. Make them get out of your way. I'm like, well, what's the big deal? He said, look, it's a big deal. It's your street. If they don't think it's your street, they're going to take advantage of you every day, and they're going to mess with you. So I thought, well, maybe I'll get by tonight. It was a little bit late by the time I finally got out there. And I had my radio there. I turned it on. I was listening to it. I was walking slowly. I got about, 3 blocks down the street. And this giant, menacing man was walking directly at me. And he was staring directly at me. I was so scared. But I thought, Ralph told me not to let him stare me down and not to get out of his way. So I walked directly to him. And he didn't look away, and he didn't walk away. And we got closer and closer and closer in this game of chicken until we were almost nose to nose. And this guy was stinky, and he was looking at me with rage in his eyes. And I was so scared, but I mustered every bit of courage that I had. And I said to him, listen, man, you might think you're crazy, but you're not as crazy as me. And I'm the only one here that's got a gun and a stick. So you tell me, you want me to shoot you or beat you to death with the stick? And he was staring at me, and all of a sudden he went, "Whoa!" And he ran around me. I didn't get out of his way. He ran around me and ran behind me down the street. I almost died. I was like, holy crap. How long do I have to go through this before I can retire? Oh, that's right, 20 freaking years. So I calmed down. I looked around to see if anybody was watching, and of course, there were plenty of people watching. So I tried to act like it was no big deal, and I just sauntered off down the street. Next thing you know, headquarters said, 17 beat 2, take headquarters. And I thought, oh, good, maybe I'm getting an early lunch or something. So I turned around, I walked down to headquarters, and I walked in. I said, hey, everybody, what's up? They said, anything happen out there? I said, no, not much. Why? They said, did you meet a guy named Crazy Willie? I said, I don't know. I didn't really meet anybody. I said, did you tell a man named Crazy Willie that you were going to beat him and then shoot him? And I said, well, I did have a little confrontation by a gentleman that probably would have a name like Crazy Willie. And I didn't exactly tell him that I was going to beat him and then shoot him. I actually gave him a choice, which one he wanted. And they went, man, that guy's crazy as a bedbug. You should have seen him when he came in here. He wants you to go to jail. So, but I did what I was told to do, and sometimes in life you have to do what you're told to do, no matter how scary it is. And you have to sometimes look craziness in the eyes and confront it. It's not going to go away. All by itself, anyway. It's only going to go away if you confront it. Now, I'm not going to tell you never to get out of anybody's way, and especially here in Spain, where everybody just kind of invades your personal space all the time. I'm not going to tell you never to look away, but when a big problem comes up, don't get out of its way, and don't let it stare you down. Peace out, guys.